Welcome to Home Sweet Homeschool. If you're new here, my name is Ashley and I'm a homeschooling mom to one. And in today's video, we're going to talk all about the newest unit from Gather Round Homeschool, Middle Ages. So a few things about this unit. If you're new to Gather Round Homeschool, I urge you to go and visit their website. You also might want to join their Facebook community. Tons of information there, a lot of ways to make connections with other families. And they also have an app, which is amazing. And we're going to talk about that. So first things first is you can get this unit, Middle Ages, you can get this in print, meaning they print it themselves and they send it to you, or you can get it in digital, meaning you will get a PDF download of the unit. You'll download it to your device and you'll print it at home. You can do either way, whatever works best for your family. We've tried both ways and they're both great, but I will say I love the print quality that comes from Gather Round. So you can get it as print and digital. Right now, when I went to the website yesterday, you could also get this Seat Work Journal add-on. If you don't know what the Seat Work Journal is, I'll actually link a video down below that kind of shows you some of the Seat Work Journals that we have used. Those just started in year 3, so you're not going to find those for all the units, but there is one for this unit. And it really just helps you with the Seat Work pages, and my Seat Work video that'll be linked down below will explain how to use the Seat Work pages. So if you purchase the Seat Work Journal, that also can come in print or in a PDF download, a digital download. And it's wonderful. You can get it in manuscript or in cursive, and it's just a great place to practice your spelling, do your copy work, and then there's some vocabulary and extra grammar. So if you want grammar every day, then you may want to look into the Seat Work Journal. But like I said, that's a year 3 thing, so don't be looking for that with the year 1 and year 2 units. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you inside the app how you can join the Middle Ages community, where you can find some extra resources for this unit. And then I'm going to give you a flip through of the Middle Ages teacher guide and also the middle school journal, because that's the one that I buy. If you don't know, like I said, my opening, I only have one child. So while this is made for families, if you only have one child, you can certainly use it. This is our 4th year using Gather Round. So don't let it scare you away from using this. This is a great unit study approach that teaches all of your subjects except math. So definitely give it a look. Let's get into the app and then to the flip through. Let me show you how to get into the Gather Round app. So you can download this on your device, but you can also reach it through your desktop. So we're going to click on the app, and if you want to get to the resources for the Middle Ages, you're going to go to Join a Community. Then you're going to go click on the year, which is year 3, and you will go down to Middle Ages. When you get there, you can go chat about it, and I'm not sure, I haven't joined this one yet. So you hit join. And from there, this is where you can see where everyone has already shared things. You do need to keep in mind, though, this is a very new unit, so there's not going to be as much shared as some of the past units. Then you have links and resources. This is going to be your best friend right here. This is your Middle Ages resources. So from here, that's where you're going to find the book list. Then it's divided up by weeks. When you click on the week, it's going to take you to lessons 1 through 4. That will be in week 1. Then you have week 2, all the way through. The things that you see in red are things that Gather Round has put on there themselves, and the other stuff is shared by other families. So make sure that you look at these things before you share them with your family. One thing that I really like is right here at the downloads. That's also going to be a good place for you because you're going to find the scope and sequence for the unit. You're going to find the Seat Work scope and sequence. So that's the Seat Work Journal. You have the supply list, so you can go ahead and get prepared. Your table of contents, binder spines, your planner pages, a completion certificate, and a pronunciation guide, which comes in handy for some of these words. So please go and download the app or look it up on the desktop. You are going to be so glad that you did. Let's take a look inside the teacher's guide for Middle Ages. Like I said, this is the newest unit that was just released by Gather Round Homeschool. So this is what you will read out of to your family. This is the book that you get all your information from. So there's always a note to the teacher. There's also going to be this red stamp. This is so you can resell them. It just means that they were printed by Gather Round. So if you ever buy used, like on the Buy Sell Trade group, they make sure that it has this red stamp. That's very important. And if you need to download the app, you're going to do that right here. Okay. So a note to the teacher. This also says don't miss out on the MP3 Teacher's Guide. That wasn't out at the time that I looked at this online, but I'm sure it will be out. Then you have your recitation. And now we're going to look at the table of contents. I'll just give you a little quick glance of what is offered in this unit. And there's also the appendix that you will want to check out. So we're going to take a look at a couple of the lessons, not all of them, but we will take a look at a couple of them. We'll start with lesson 1. This does say you're invited to the Middle Ages in Europe, and it gives you a date. If you're not sure how to pronounce, you can use the QR code and go to the pronunciation guide, which is super helpful. So lesson 1 is just an introduction to the era, and you're going to have your bold words, some did you know. Here's a nice map with the map key. This talks about the feudal system. One thing I've noticed to be in every lesson, and I really, really like this, meanwhile in the rest of the world. I love that. I love to know what is going on in other parts of the world when this was happening. And so I do love that that is featured. And then this kingdom parallel is also in every lesson. And throughout the unit, you're going to be learning about the kingdom of God. And so you're going to have this in every lesson, which I love that. Also, I noticed that in every lesson, there is a hands-on activity. Those are optional, but they are a lot of fun. You have your vocabulary for all the levels, and here's your day at a glance for all the levels as well. Here's a look at lesson 2, the backdrop. It starts with a poem. It talks about the Roman Empire. Here's an extension activity. You're doing a spotlight on a certain person here. Then there's your meanwhile in the rest of the world and your kingdom parallel, and then your hands-on activity. And they're really easy. Like this one's to play a game of Jenga. I mean, that's pretty simple. And your day at a glance. Let's go a little further back. Well, we'll just go quickly through it. How about that? So lesson 3 is the long arm of the church. You have some talk about it. Here's your church responsibilities and roles. Medieval castles. I loved this page. I think my son is going to flip over this page. He likes stuff like this. So this is really neat. Battle of Tours. This talks about life in the medieval castle. So what does each person do? I really like that too. Lesson 6 is on Charlemagne. This talks about how did a knight dress and how did a knight act. Lesson 7, the Treaty of Verdun, I'm not sure. I should have looked at that pronunciation guide, shouldn't I? This talks all about armor and weapons. I mean, what kid is not gonna go crazy over this? That looks like a lot of fun. And of course, like the hands-on activity is to build your own armor or weapons. So that would be fun. Alfred the Great. You're talking about medieval food. You have Otto the Great. Fun fact, that was my great-grandfather's name. His name is Otto, was Otto. This is all about warfare. Here we are at lesson 10, where we talk a lot about medieval clothing based on their class. Just like paper dolls. Those were really cool. Lesson 11 is a Great Divide. William the Conqueror. Medieval instruments and music. That will be interesting. The First Crusade. You get to talk about medieval art. The Anarchy. So this talks about medieval crime and punishment in jails. I thought that was interesting when I was looking through it. education, Richard the Lionheart, medieval literature, so poetry and folklore, the Magna Carta, hunting and gathering, Philip the Fair. I must say, I don't know all of this stuff, and I'm pretty sure I probably talked about this in high school, but I have a feeling I'm going to be learning a lot myself. Look at the thrones and the swords and the crowns. How cool is this? The Black Plague. I think that will be interesting to talk about. All the loose ends. So you're tying it up here. Tying it up. So let's see. So in the appendix, you have a map and you have an index. So not very much in the appendix here of the teacher's guide. So now let's look at the only notebook I have, because I have an only child. So I don't have all the notebooks, but I do have the middle school notebook. So this will kind of give you a glimpse as to what they look like. They're pretty much set up the same way. So they are bound at the top when you order print, but you can put in the notes if you want them to be bound a different way. I don't think about it when I get them printed. I don't think about that, but it does kind of annoy me. It's also hard to make a video when it flips at the top. So this is just the welcome letter to the kids that you can read to them or they can read themselves. But it does talk about that in this unit, the writing project is a newspaper. So you're going to learn how to do a comic, an advertisement, a breaking news report, and a letter to the editor. So that should be a lot of fun. And then it tells you what else to not miss out on down here at the bottom. You do have a table of contents. This just shows you what all you're covering in each lesson. It's front and back, but I'm not going to flip over to the back. Your child also has the same recitation that's in the teacher's guide. If you don't know what to do with this page, recitation is just being able to read out loud. You can memorize it and then deliver it, out loud, or you can just read from it. Either one you want to do. You can do any way you want to, but that's kind of what that is. The next thing you're going to notice is your seat work, and I highly, highly recommend, if you have the means to do it, to purchase the seat work journals. They were an excellent way to help us remember to do the seat work, because they do have a spot for copy work, they have a spot for spelling, for vocabulary, and they also have daily grammar. So if you're looking for daily grammar for your child, the seat work journal is an excellent addition. You can get it for the level of your child. You can get it in manuscript and cursive, and I highly recommend those. And so I'm also going to link a video that I did all about gather around seat work. If you want to check it out, it'll be in the description box. So you have your all your seat work for each of the weeks. And then I'm just going to show you a few lessons, because like I said, it's really hard to turn these front and back and get them on camera. So just like the other units, the first page of each lesson is always a notebooking page. So your kids can do this while you're reading, or if they do better afterwards, however you want to handle it. This is the notebooking page for it, for the middle school level. On the back of that, they're going to start their writing project. So this is telling them they're just going to learn how to be a journalist by writing several different types of things that would be in a newspaper. I really like that idea. Then you have some history here with an extension activity. You do have some art. So you're making a Middle Ages invitation. And then you have Bible. I did notice that there is a Bible page in every lesson. So if you're looking for some more Bible study, this is really good here. And there's a way to dig deeper as well. All right, let's look at lesson 2. So again, you've got that notebooking page. Here's where you're going to learn about the different types of cartoons and comic strips. I guess I should call them, well, editorial comics or cartoons. Your history and social studies, you're talking about a code, organizing laws. And then you're talking about aqueducts. So if you've done ancients, you've probably already talked about this. So your kids will probably remember this, because I know that's in ancients. Okay, I think I've just messed up. I have such a hard time. You would think somebody my age who's done so many of these units would know how to flip the pages, but I don't. Then you have Bible. This is about Nebuchadnezzar's dream, and then a place to dig deeper. Let's go back a tad bit further here. Let me show you lesson 10, because it does have something a tad bit different, and we'll get to that. So here's the notebooking for lesson 10. Here's where you're going to brainstorm breaking news. Then you have your social studies, which is about peer pressure. And then this is what I love, narration. So if you are looking for quizzes because you have to keep grades, or you really want to check to make sure your children are comprehending what they're learning, then you want to use these narration pages. You can use them for oral narration. You can turn them into quizzes. You can let your kids do written narration. These pages are wonderful. And in this unit, you're going to find them at lesson 10 and lesson 20. That's where the narration questions are. And it really just covers everything up until this lesson. So I just wanted to let you know about those, because I think that's important. And here is the Bible lesson for lesson 10 on humility. Let's go to the back and I will show you. I know there is one that has Roman numerals in it, so just a little bit of math. If I can find it right off, I will. But, you know, when I'm trying to find something, I can't find it. So, you know, I may or may not find it. I know it's in here. I know there's a lesson on Roman numerals. Yeah, it's the next lesson. Look at there. I could have just stayed there. So in lesson 11, let me show you this. There is a little bit of math. Of course, that's not going to cover your math curriculum, but a little bit of extra math. You have some Roman numerals here. So let's go look at lesson 20. Let's take you to the very back. So as you're going through this, you are working on that writing project. It is going to tell you what you need to be doing with your writing project throughout the whole unit. It's going to guide you through it. Here's lesson 20's notebooking page. You get to do a free write in lesson 20. Here are those narration questions that I was talking about. Then you have something about Machu Picchu. So this is your history and your art. And then you've got my mark in history, where you're talking about, your child will talk about their legacy that they're leaving behind, and an optional extension activity. Now, in the back, in the appendix for the student notebook, you're going to find a cheat sheet of the spelling words. You can use this any way you want to. You can hang it up, whatever you want to do. Leave it in the back, whatever. You're also going to find on the back of that is a cheat sheet of all the vocabulary words for this level. There are maps, which are very useful. Definitely take these out and use them throughout the lessons. And the next page, of course, there's another map. See, as you can see, there's more maps, lots of maps. And then there is a recipe. That actually looks pretty good. I would eat that. Then this tells you this is for lesson 11, page 3. You have Roman numeral rules. A page about the scientific method. This is for lesson 14, page 4. It'll tell you at the top what you're doing with it. This is lesson 17, page 4, a vision chart. And then you have lesson 19, page 2. So it'll tell you exactly what you need to use each of those pages for. So that is the flip through of the Middle Ages notebook and the teacher's guide. So if you have any questions about the seat work journal, copy work, the unit itself, or just anything about Gather Round, let me know in the comments below. And as always, thank you so much for watching.